The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host and their guests do not necessarily reflect those of Para-X, its affiliates, or its sponsors.
The following program contains opinions expressed by the Dead Zone. If you find this broadcast offensive, lighten up, candy ass.
What?
Oh my gosh.
It's a radio show.
Hell yeah! That's what I'm talking about.
Initialize sequence now.
We're now in the approach phase. Everything looking good. Control is good. 5, roger, copy. 3, 2, 1, engage.
Dead Zone WDZRDB Worldwide. Welcome to the Dead Zone Paranormal Radio Show.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. September 13th, Dead Zone Paranormal Radio Show. Our hearts and prayers go out to everyone in California and in the surrounding area. My God, can it get any worse? I'm afraid to even say that. Coming up tonight, we've got Keith Evans. He's a retired forensic scientist. He's an acting paranormal investigator and an author of the book The Hayes House. Ghost are people too. Ghost are people too. You hear me say that on the show all the time. I do believe that. Oh, hey, as of now, we talked to Jason Snyder a couple of shows back about non-con that's going to be held this month. I think it's the 26th or 27th. You have to check the website out for that. Go to Jason Snyder's Facebook page, actually, and you get all the information there. So it looks like it's going to happen. We're not going to be able to attend. There's just no way we can manage it at this point. But if you're close, I suggest you go. And remember, it's all free. So why not, right? Hey, before we get to Jeff, let's do a real quick one. This one's Black Tractors, Just Like Fairy. It's a metal show too, after all, right? Crank it.
Oh my God.
Never quite walk right up there.
Are you kidding me? Did I say Jeff? I'm losing it, people. Doing this by yourself during this pandemic isn't a whole lot of fun. Well, I guess I'm missing our old buddy Jeff Headley from the Ames team, Mountain Monsters, and the rest of the crew as well. You know that. I love those guys. I miss those guys. I miss everything, all the conventions and all the whatever. Damn pandemic is killing me. While I get my hamster back on its wheel, this is Scum of the Earth.
Will you love me forever? I love you till the day I die.
All right, let's get to the reason you tuned in tonight. Mr. Keith Evans, we're going to get him on the phone in just one moment. Bear with me, please. It's ringing. Hello? Hey, I can barely hear you. Can you get close to the phone?
Yeah, let me put it on speaker.
There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Well, just barely, yeah. If I could get you to get right on top of that phone, man.
Okay, I'm on top.
All right, yeah. I need to amplify that sound there. It's not coming through very well.
Can you hear me better now?
Yes, I can hear you real good now. That's fine. That's fine. Well, Keith, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Absolutely, no problem whatsoever. Before we get to the book, I did have, I want to get a little bit of background on you. It says, your bio says you were a former retired forensic investigator. Now, was that with law enforcement, or what was that all about?
That was DHS.
Okay, elaborate. You've lost me. Yeah.
Department of Homeland Security.
Okay, all right, okay. Wow. Well, tell us a little bit about that if you can.
Well, I mainly did polarization of sugars for trade.
Okay. That's completely not what I thought you were talking about or what it was about. Okay. I was more along the lines of law enforcement and that kind of thing.
Well, in a way it is, but it's more like the lab that tests samples.
Okay. All right. And you did that for how many years?
5 years.
5 years. Okay. Very cool. And you no longer do that, obviously, but you are still an active investigator and also an author.
Yes, as far as paranormal.
Yes. Okay. Well, does that training come in useful at all in that field?
Yes, I think so. As far as documenting evidence and documenting everything as far as photos, videos, as retracing your steps and trying to recreate the same situation. Sometimes you might hear a squeak on an old hardwood floor.
Right.
And some hardwood floors, there's a certain gap. So if you put weight in a certain area, it'll make almost like a person is screaming.
Yeah.
So if you can recreate your steps and find out it's not paranormal,
right,
but you almost have to step in the same precise location, right, because the boards that are kind of like tongue and groove,
yes,
they kind of like wiggle a little bit if there's a little bit of space between them, and it'll cause that sound.
Okay, yeah. I mean, yeah, we all do. Yeah, that's part of what we all do, right? Debunking certain things, certain theories, or certain ideas that people have that's going on in their house. Yeah. Well, that's very cool. Okay. You do research on the homes that first of all, on the Hayes house. Of course, we know that you've had to have done research on that you wrote a book about it. But are there others?
Yes, I've done research. I've been doing paranormal research off and on in some way or another ever since I was a child.
Right.
I'm somewhat of an empath, so as a child, I would always get interested in a certain old, mainly farmhouses.
Yes.
And I'd want to stop and kind of explore them. And, I always wanted to go inside and see what they look like. And right, I was always drawn to the old abandoned farmhouses.
Right.
It seemed like where I lived at, a lot of farmers had to farm, 4 or 5 little farms to try to make ends meet in the 60s and the 70s.
Like a sharecropper.
So a lot of these homes, nobody was living there, so they just let them go. And I'd always feel like I was feeling that the owner wanted me to buy that house, fix it up, and save it.
Right.
And it's like the owner was telling me his life story about how he and his wife, raised their family here, and this is where their kids graduated from high school, and this was the family business, and he didn't want to see the house, just disappear. Right.
But like I said, you've done this many, many times before, but you've only now. Have you written more than one book? Forgive me, I'm
just one book so far.
Just the one, the Hayes house. Congratulations on that, by the way.
Thank you.
Yes. You said it started as a kid. What was your experience? I mean, was there any paranormal activity, or was it just like you just said, you were an empath, or I'm trying to drag a defining moment from your childhood that veered you off towards the paranormal. You know what I mean?
It was a combination of all that. A lot of times, I was always interested in old homes, and I never really knew why. And I always wanted to see what they looked like on the inside.
Right.
And it was like I could feel the strong emotions. Some empaths can hear, I guess you could say, ghosts or spirits, or see them, or hear them and see them.
Okay.
But mainly, I feel the strong emotions that they had. and I could always feel the strong emotions in like old antiques, anything that someone had and cherished, and
like there's an attachment to it. There's an attachment to it.
It made me cheered me up to go to an antique shop, even though I never collected antiques. I mainly collected like baseball cards and coins and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, we do that as well. I mean, we've got I myself personally, I've gone to antique shops and bought quite a few of the old style lanterns, those kind of things, you know.
And I think if you purchase something that someone cherished, I think you actually have a guardian angel in that, because then that ghost of spirit who loved that object when they were alive has a vested interest in making sure that you stay alive, so you can continue to take care of that, whether it be an old lantern or item, whatever type of antique it is.
Now, don't you think that works in two different ways, though? I mean, you could buy something, you could bring something home that has something attached to it that you really don't want, right?
Well, you see that on TV a lot, but I've never had anyone tell me anything about having a negative attachment. Yeah. If anything, people love their old antiques. And back that, not everyone had a whole house full of antiques, but if they had one or two old antiques, like heavy type chest of drawers that had the old world type grain of wood, they were very proud of that. Yeah. And I think they were very protective of that. And that protection is not broken upon their death. So I've only heard about the good things. I'm not saying that there's not bad situations that might be out there, but so far I haven't run across that.
All right. Well, good. Well, that's good. That's a good deal for you, same thing. I agree with what you say, though, along the lines of your train of thought. I mean, as far as like a Ouija board, a Parker's Brothers game that was made for kids that people have now turned into an evil thing, and they don't want anything to do with it. Well, it's not the game, it's the person, right?
Well, I don't use Ouija boards.
No, we don't either. No.
I tried that once as a child, and my grandmother warned against it because apparently she was familiar with them, and I don't recommend that as a way to communicate with ghosts of spirits.
Okay, I find that really interesting. You said your grandmother warned you against a Ouija board. Now, what exactly was that warning? What did she tell you? Because that falls right in line with what we see today now. Everyone says Ouija boards are evil, and I don't believe that. I'm sorry, but
well, this was what maybe 55 years ago. So I'm trying to remember. I know she was against it, and I don't remember anything bad ever happening. But she was against it. I just didn't feel comfortable using it. Because I always felt like good ghosts, you can communicate with them just because they're in the area. Yeah. And a lot of times the person has to be a sensitive. Not everyone is going to pick up on a noise or see a ghost or a spirit the way some people who are more sensitive. Right. So you might have 3 people in the room and only one person is going to hear or see the ghost. Because they have those abilities, and the other people don't.
Right. Now, was your grandmother a religious woman?
Well, I think so. She was a Methodist.
Okay. So, I mean, that might be part of it right there. I mean, she knew that, don't mess around with that. You shouldn't be doing this. Not because of any other reason, but your upbringing, your religion, right? Maybe.
Well, I think she was born in 1911, and I think up until the 1920s, there was a lot of, I don't know what you would call it, people doing like fortune telling and having seance. Oh, yeah. And a lot of that was kind of exposed as being fake.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Houdini, God rest his soul, yes.
Show that.
Absolutely, yes.
So I think she might have been she was born at a time where it wasn't very popular to, fool around or mess around with the paranormal. In fact, most people thought it was just someone trying to defraud you out of your money.
Exactly, and it was. I honestly believe that most of it was. I mean, and it still is today.
Yes.
Okay, well, we agree on that, and yeah, thank you very much for saying that, because I'm the skeptic of our group. I wish they were all here. We all can't be together because of this pandemic, but whatever.
Well, I do know that there are ghosts of spirits that are willing to help, and I feel everyone does have a guardian angel.
Absolutely.
But,
Absolutely.
At the same time, I never charge anyone to do any type of paranormal session.
Okay.
I try to get written permission to either do a book, a movie, or a TV program, because I would reach a lot more people with my good ghost theories.
Yes.
If I had a TV program. But
yeah.
I think in the USA, most people that are into paranormal like the horror movie side of it.
Exactly.
And,
exactly.
They might be disappointed if they read one of my books, because I don't particularly find paranormal to be anything to do with a horror movie.
Right.
I think if a ghost or spirit does communicate with you, it happens suddenly, because you're not going to see them, walking up from 3 blocks away.
Right.
When it happens, it's happens suddenly. But you can be surprised by a car backfiring. That don't mean you have to run out of the house when you're out.
Right. Yeah. I think if you have an experience, and it's if you can contain yourself, you should be grateful. You know what I mean?
Well, I think the more one does paranormal research, they want communication. They want a ghost or spirit to respond to them.
Absolutely.
So when you want it, even if you are surprised, you're not going to run out of the house. I think that's more Hollywood trying to make a horror movie out of it.
That's theatrics, and
frightened.
Yeah.
The audience is more frightened by the person being frightened and running than the actual surprise of the noise.
Right. I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, we've done investigations many times, and we've got some really good evidence, both audio and video, but it wasn't anything that would make you, like you say, run out screaming, right? But it wouldn't make good TV programming, because it wouldn't make ratings, because there's nothing like what you see today. You know what I mean?
Yes, and most paranormal investigators, it's kind of like being a emergency medical technician. A lot of people are afraid of blood, but emergency medical technician is so used to situations where there's lots of blood that it don't affect them anymore. Right. And it's the same way with paranormal investigators.
Right.
If you've truly done it a lot, it's probably you're not gonna have any type of harsh response to it.
No.
I think anyone will flinch if they hear a loud noise, especially people who are veterans. But at the same time, they stand their ground and they continue to complete their investigation and ask questions, and they don't just leave.
Right. I mean, the honest truth is, like I've said this before many times on this show, if you go on a paranormal investigation, you will be bored out of your mind for hours.
Yes.
But
yes,
that one little piece will make it all worthwhile.
And that's the reason why I don't put I usually try to do an hour-long investigation, because most ghosts and spirits only have so much energy. And once you make contact with them, they might not have enough energy to communicate until maybe 24 hours. So you're going to get different ghosts, and those ghosts are going to change the conversation, and then people are going to think, well, if you got a different conversation, you're not doing a good job. But I feel it's just my theory that ghosts and spirits only have so much energy.
Well, it's true.
And once they use it, then they have to either draw it from your batteries, or maybe wait for time to pass to regain enough energy to communicate with you.
Or like you see on TV, and I agree with this a little bit. Maybe a person in your group, it may start draining energy from them, and they start feeling ill or start feeling uneasy. You know?
Well, usually I feel emotionally drained, but I think it's because I try to examine everything that's said, and I try to think, well, for instance, if I get the word kill,
Right.
I use the obelisk
obelisk,
at least I did for the Hayes house, but I use the obelisk 5B now because my obelisk 4 got washed away in the storm surge of Hurricane Michael.
Oh, my gosh.
But if you get the word kill, I'm always thinking, are they saying that they were killed? Were they murdered? Or are they saying, most people, at least what you see on TV, they're running out of the room saying, it's going to kill me or whatever. And, I get the word kill a good bit. And so far, I've never been hurt.
Right.
And I don't necessarily think if you're dealing with a person that lived 400 years ago, they may not even have learned how to read.
Right.
And they might be trying to tell you that they're dead.
Right.
And to them, kill is the same as the word dead, meaning that they're not alive.
Right.
And that might be what they're trying to get across.
Right. Now,
so you have to
go ahead.
You have to realize that not everyone who's speaking to you is using the lingo that you might use in 2020.
Right. See, that's another one of my big pet peeves about the newfangled all gadgets and everything that everyone uses nowadays. Like, I still use the SB7 and 11, that kind of thing. I mean, I understand it's just radio frequencies, skipping, but the Ovilus, that's just basically a database of predetermined words for whatever reason, however it works, I don't know, I don't claim to, that just pop up, right?
Well, to the best of my knowledge, I was told that the ghosts or spirits can use their energy to somehow get into the small obelisk 5B and choose words.
Right.
And sometimes it's right on the money.
Right.
I remember one time at the Hayes house, I was out on the front porch, and I was so disappointed because there's like it's near a river in a bay where people take their boats and they pull them behind noisy trucks on trailers that rattle. Right. And it's just constant people going by with their boats on a trailer.
Yeah.
And I was discussing, I said out loud, and I used the wrong name of the road, because the Hayes house is on the corner of 4th Avenue and, D Avenue and 4th Street in Apalachicola, Florida. Uh-huh. And I had called it something totally different. And right away I got liar on the 5.
Called you out, right? Okay.
Yes. and I wasn't even asking a question. I was just frustrated. And instead of saying the right name of the road, I called it some other road. I don't know why. It was a Freudian slip.
Excuse me.
And when you get things like that, it doesn't happen all the time, but it happens enough that you know that it's some type of intelligent response.
Right.
Because it's just... And when it happens like that, it happens as soon as you get done speaking. And I knew as soon as I said out loud, because I was taping, I was using 2 video camcorders because I was hoping to get a TV show. And I thought, well, saving the wrong name of the road is not going to be good for TV, if I do get a TV show. Right. So I knew I'd made a mistake at a word, and it sounded like a liar. And, of course, what I like about the obelisk 5B, my hearing's not that good from the Army, but it gives you at least the last 3 words that were said, it gives you a digital readout.
Yes.
And you can look at it.
Right.
And it said liar. So I like that about the obelisk 5. Right. I know with the SB7s, that constant S-type sound that you hear while it's searching, that just drives my ears.
Oh, yes. My wife,
I don't know why.
My wife, Michelle, hates them.
Very uncomfortable.
Michelle hates the SB7 and the SB11. She says it's too noisy and it's unreliable. And I say, okay, well, it's just another piece in our set of equipment. To be honest, we only use, for the longest time now, we've cut back. We've went back to 101. We even do a class on 101, bare bones. You don't need all the fancy gadgets, but toys are fun. I admit it. But yeah, I mean, going back to what you said about you making a mistake, I just did that tonight on the show. I said we're going to have our guest coming up. I said Jeff instead of Keith, and I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding me? There's so much going on in my mind. I can't keep my hamster on the wheel, but yeah, I get it.
I do the same thing.
Yeah. Okay, let's get to the book. The Hayes House ghosts are people too, and everyone out there that listens to this show has heard me say that time and time again. Ghosts are just people just like you and me. If they were bad in life, they're bad in death. Same good and bad, good whatever. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. What made you focus? What made you focus on the Hayes House?
Well, the Hayes House is a old Victorian home. It was built in 1908, and it had two families, the Buck family that lived there from 1908 to 1922 when Jeff Buck passed away, and it had the Hayes family that moved in 1945, and the last Hayes family member, Kathleen Hayes, moved out in 1996. And I like the fact that the first two families had stayed there close to 20 years. And, of course, Kathleen had lived there about 55 years. And I know that if at least two families had lived there for long periods of time, they had that bond with the house. Uh-huh. And I was going to prove to myself that bond allows a ghost or spirit to travel back and forth from heaven whenever they're needed, to look after the house and make sure whoever purchases the house takes care of it and that the house is there for future generations. Right. I know some people think that ghosts are here because they're trapped and they didn't get into heaven or whatever, but right. I don't believe that. I think they can travel back and forth at the speed of light.
Our friend Scotty Rourke is of the same mind, has that same opinion, and I agree, yes.
Because I feel once we pass away, all that's left is their soul, and their soul is electromagnetic energy. Just like if you look at a ECG of the brain, where you see the electrical wave of the brain functioning properly, or the EKG of the heart, where you see the electrical wave of the heart functioning properly.
Right.
Once we pass away, our biological body is gone, but our electromagnetic energy is our soul, and that lives on.
Right. Okay. Wow.
So I pretty much proved my theory, because I feel that there are members of both the Buck family and the Hayes family that come back and forth from heaven to look after the Hayes house.
Okay. And, one of the questions that you so graciously sent me, because I've been out of it for a while, was what did it take on your part to win the trust of the spirits in that Hayes house?
Well, I let them know right up front how I plan to use whatever data I get. And I explained to them all the pieces of equipment, how they can use it as a ghost or spirit to, let me know they're there, like the Obelisk 5B. In this case, when I did the Hayes house, it was the Obelisk 4.
Right.
And the bell meter, and also explained to them about thermal imagers. Mm-hmm. And they pretty much knew what they could do if they wanted me to see them. And I let them know that I want to use this paranormal data and information, pictures, and, video footage for either a future book, mm-hmm. TV program, or movie.
Right.
Now, I don't really have the control or the finances for a TV program or a movie unless I get help from someone who's already in the business.
Right.
But I did have enough money to at least have one book out so far.
Right.
So I try to be upfront with the ghosts and spirits so they know that if they communicate with me, if they don't want it to be on TV or on a movie in the future, or in a book, then don't communicate. Don't say it.
Right.
And then it won't be in the book or the movie or the TV program.
Right. Now you understand that
that
you
helps.
understand that it's individual private production companies that do that, right? They'll develop a program or something they want to make, just like the one that I'm on, and then they will pitch it to a network. And if it doesn't look like it's going to make ratings, you may as well just forget about it, right?
Right.
Right.
Well, I'm learning as I go. I learned a lot from you right now, but I've communicated with individual type production companies, and so far, no takers. I think everyone wants to do something evil to try to get the
ratings,
horror movie
yes.
fans.
Right.
But I think there's a much larger group of people that do believe in the guardian angel, and they might be the silent type where they don't talk about it.
Oh, they're out there.
Have talked about it to me that most people that have a Victorian home know that there's ghosts there, and they know that they're no harm, and they actually feel comfortable with them being there.
Yes.
And because of that, I think that these production companies are shooting themselves in the foot. Somebody's got to be first to do it. And believe me, if they are a TV program about a positive paranormal or a good ghost or guardian angel ghost,
right.
There will be one on ABC, one on CBS,
right.
one on NBC.
Right.
They'll be on all the major networks, plus cable.
Right. Right. Unfortunately, though, I mean, ratings are the lifeblood. If the networks aren't making money, then they're going to move on. And you know that.
Well, I don't think there's ever been a positive guardian angel type ghost TV program on, especially one that covers the history. I try to give the people as much history as possible.
Right.
If possible, before I do the paranormal research, I try to go to the library and get as much history on
right.
the place that I'm doing paranormal research. It's not always possible,
right.
but the more you know about the history, the better questions you can ask.
Right.
Like at the Hayes house, I had no idea the first time I did paranormal research there that when I didn't know at the time, but now I'm pretty sure it was Kathleen said the word bridge.
Okay.
And I thought she was talking about the Gorey Bridge, which is a bridge on Highway 98, which is just about a half a block east from where the Hayes house is.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought she was talking about the physical bridge that you ride across, a body of water on.
Yeah.
And she was talking about the card game bridge.
Oh.
And
yeah.
And I feel that when you don't understand what the ghost is actually saying because you're taking the wrong definition of the word, I think you just shut that ghost of spirit down.
Right.
And that's what I did with Kathleen.
Right.
And on the very first, I guess it's chapter 1 of the Hayes house, which is called the den room.
Okay.
And that's how the Hayes family used that room. They used it as a den. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I pretty much shut Kathleen down when she was talking about the card game bridge, and I thought she was talking about the physical Gorey Bridge.
Oh, I see, yeah. There were no murders at the Hayes house, right? It was a peaceful, yes, it was a peaceful, loving family. Yes, okay, yeah.
It was very family-oriented until Kathleen sold it in 1996. And then after that, it more or less became a combination of rental property for vacationers and also business offices and things like that.
Right. Wow. Yeah, I mean, that happens, That happens. Now, let's get back to the guardian angel thing now. I have an opinion on that. I don't think it's an angel that's your guardian angel. I think it might be, just a family member that has passed on that comes back when they can to try to guide you, try to help you, try to make you see things that you're missing.
And I agree with that. I just use the term guardian angel not as a biblical religious term, but as anyone who helps you out is like a guardian angel.
Okay,
you know, if the lifeguard pulls you out of the water, that lifeguard is your guardian angel because they saved you from drowning.
Right.
So
I wanted to just ask you about that.
I agree with you.
I wanted to ask you about that and clear that because that's the way I look at it, but everyone has their own opinion. So, number one, your favorite tool is the Ovilus, right?
Yes.
Number two, which I didn't ask yet, what was the most intense experience you've had at the Hayes house?
Let me see. I would say in the Sunshine Room.
Okay.
Which is the top front of the house on the southwest side of the house. I was doing a paranormal session in there, and I heard like a splat at the window.
Okay.
Sounded like someone took a bag and just flopped it against the window. So I quickly got up without my, the window was to my back. I got up without the camcorder and looked out the window, and nobody's out there. Nobody threw a snowball or anything against the house.
A bird didn't hit the window? Yeah.
It doesn't snow.
Right, a bird didn't fly into the window?
What's that now?
A bird didn't fly into the window? We have that happen quite often.
Well, it's a possibility. I didn't see anything, and I got up and looked right away. It sounded like it would have hit hard enough. It would have been laying there on the roof if it fell down. There's like a roof over the wraparound porch, front porch on the first floor, and I didn't see anything.
Yeah.
But anyway, always remember when something like that happens and your camcorder is not facing towards the window, pick the camcorder up and take it with you so it shows your listeners or future people who view it on TV or on YouTube or whatever that there was nothing there to make the noise. And my theory is when ghosts and spirits arrive and they pass through different mediums, and what I mean by medium is air, which is gas, the glass window, which is a solid, and then back out to the air inside the room, which is a gas. The electromagnetic energy is traveling so fast, when it does that, pass through gas, solid gas, it makes that sound that sounds like a plastic bag slapping against the window one time.
Okay.
So, and I think it was Sunshine arriving because she knew that I was doing a paranormal session in the room, and I guess she just wanted to maybe check me out and see who I was. And I think I did her room towards the middle later in the book. Yeah. So I'm sure the other ghosts and spirits had talked about me, and I had probably communicated with her in other rooms. But I think it was either the first or second session I did in her room, and that's the room she passed away in. Okay. She passed away in 1956. She had cancer. Oh. So anyway, I think she has a special connection with that room, and it kind of made my day because rarely do I get that sound against the window. But when I do, I actually thought it was going to be the cat, because I was sitting with my back to the window, and the cat sometimes gets left out on the second floor porch, and she'll walk her way over on top of the roof of the porch and try to get in one of the windows. So the cat was not outside, and that was not the case. Right. But I was happy that Sunshine would communicate in that way.
Right. Okay. One of the other questions that you provided me was, and this is a good question, do you think the ghost, not only at Hayes' house but the others, are going to be there forever, for lack of a better word, or will they move on eventually?
Well, I look at it this way. As long as the present owner, and future owners keep the house looking the way it looked when the Hayes family and the Buck family were alive,
right,
I think that they will recognize it as their house, and that will keep them coming back to look after it, like a guardian angel.
Yeah.
Keep them coming back to make sure that it's protected, and whoever buys it takes care of it and keeps it as original as possible.
Okay, so then that brings up, the poltergeist issue. Are you a believer in the fact that if you purchase property, a home or whatever, and you make changes, that's going to irritate them, it's going to piss them off, and they're going to start acting up?
I think so, because I think that ghosts of spirits love their home, especially if they live there for a long period of time.
Yeah.
And Kathleen, she definitely lived there for 55 years.
Right.
So to her, she doesn't want anyone changing it. It was good enough for her when she lived there. And
right.
There's a possibility if the new owner or a new owner or present owner changes it too much, that might cause her to lose interest in it.
Yeah.
And
that's one of the theories, though. I mean, if someone buys some property, they start to renovate, do whatever, weird things start to happen, and they blame it on poltergeist activity. Do you believe that?
Well, I think poltergeist activity, from what I understand, is usually when a person is in turmoil. They're upset. They have a lot of anxiety.
That depends.
And a lot of what's going on is caused by
that person.
The person
yes.
projecting that anxiety onto the physical world around them.
Right. That's one of the theories. That is one of the theories. Absolutely. I mean, with Down syndrome, with children like that. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with you.
With any teenager, because it's a very emotional time.
Oh yeah.
When people are going through puberty.
Yes. Yeah. But anyway, I mean, we've been called on a few that were, we just bought this house, we're doing these renovations, and this weird thing started to happen, and we go check it out, and basically, there may be a few EMF fluctuations and this, that, and the other. Michelle will do a cleansing, and just, for example, one in particular, not too long ago, we got a call back, and she said, "Thank you guys so much, because nothing's happened since you've been here." I don't know what Michelle did. I don't know how she does her things, what she does, her cleansings and all that kind of thing. But evidently that worked. So I don't know.
When a new owner does renovations, it could be one of two things. It could be stressful for the new owner coming into a new home, trying to make it their home and make it the way they want it, and having enough funds to afford to do it in a timely manner.
Yes.
And it could be their stress. It could be their stress causing it to happen.
Right.
Or it could be the ghosts of spirits unhappy with changes made in the home that they love, and they might be disappointed because they thought they could manipulate the new owner to keep it the way they had it when they were alive.
Right. One of the weirdest things that did happen at that place was when we got there, when Dustin was with our crew, Dustin Coffee, we got there, I opened my case, I took out my walkie-talkies, no batteries, and they started to scream. Both of the walkie-talkies started to scream with no batteries.
And it started to make a screaming sound?
I mean, they just started a high-pitched squeal.
Like a squelch.
And then they turned off with no batteries. Now, that was the weirdest thing I have ever seen, or for no reason. I mean, why would that happen? There was no batteries there.
Right.
Anyway.
I feel it was the electromagnetic energy of a ghost or spirit.
Right. I don't know what it was. I don't know, but like I said, though, she's the one that called later on and said, "Thank you guys, whatever you did. We've had no further issues. Everything's been wonderful since then, so I guess we did something good."
That's good.
All right. Okay, guys. We're about out of time. Keith Evans, author of The Hayes House, Ghost or People Too. Where can they find that out?
I just wanted to say, people can find my book any place online, Amazon, Barnes & Noble. You can order it also on Books A Million and Second and Charles. Mm-hmm. Some people have said they've been able to find it online at Walmart.
Very cool.
So check it out, and hopefully they'll read it and enjoy it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, sir, and we hope you will come back. How about that?
Yes, I would love to come back on your show anytime you need me.
All right, man. That sounds really good. Thank you very much, and we will talk to you again.
Thank you.
Millions of people are affected by the Para-X bug.
I realize that it is something that will stay with me for the rest of my life and long into the afterlife as well.
If you have the Para-X bug, there is hope.
With a nightly visit to the Para-X website and intensive past life regression therapy, I can control it.
Even with the Para-X bug, I can still lead an active life of radio show hosting, paranormal investigating, evidence checking, attending conferences, book writing, keeping up with the latest technology, and still keep my 40-hour-a-week day job.
If you think that you have the Para-X bug or know someone who might, visit para-x.com. And remember, you are not alone.
I am not alone.
I
am not alone.
The Para-X bug may cause the urge to chase shadow people, visit exotic haunted locations, adopt a pugwudgie, or spend all of your time trying to figure out the laws and principles of paranormal investigation. Listening to Para-X may increase these effects.
Sudden visions of full-body apparitions, or feeling the covers being pulled off you in the middle of the night by unseen hands, may also be signs of exposure to the Para-X bug.
The use of Para-X may be habit-forming, and an overwhelming desire to provoke spirits may be a serious side effect. If these symptoms last more than 4 hours, you should quickly consult a trusted witch and have her cast a "What the hell are you thinking?" spell on you. If symptoms persist, please contact the Para-X Radio Network Homeland Security Team for further instructions.
The Para-X bug may cause urges for late-night speaking with spirits and ghosts. Listening to Para-X may increase these effects. Overwhelming desire to try provoking a spirit may be a serious side effect. Those with Para-X bug effects lasting more than 4 hours should consult Para-X or see a professional. Sudden outbursts at the mention of orbs may be a sign of exposure to the Para-X bug. Use of Para-X may be habit-forming. Use caution when engaging in Para-X chat.
Your source for everything paranormal. Para-X.
This is Rick McCullum of the Hollywood Ghost Hunters, and you're listening to The Dead Zone.
Dead Zone, WDZR-TV, worldwide.
Come on,
Hey, this is Lee. If you missed tonight's show or any other show, you can always check them out in the archives on the ParaX Radio Network, or you can go to our website and click on any of your favorite apps.
If you've enjoyed this episode, share it with your friends.
This is the Dead Zone Paranormal Radio Show.
Thanks for listening.